there and welcome. Today, we're going to tackle something that can literally open up a whole new world for you. How to have a simple, friendly conversation in English. So yeah, let's just dive right in. Okay, let's be real for a second. Does the idea of starting a conversation in English make you, well, a little nervous? You know, that feeling where you're worried you won't know what to say or that you're going to make some kind of mistake? Yeah, if that sounds like you, trust me, you are not alone. It is a totally normal feeling. But here's the good news. Building your confidence and just starting to talk, it's actually way, way simpler than you probably think. So, to show you how it's done, we're going to peek in on a supernatural chat between two friends, Sarah and David. And by just following along, we're going to find this simple pattern, a blueprint really, that you can use anytime with pretty much anyone. See, that's the thing. Most friendly chats, they follow this surprisingly simple and predictable pattern. So let's think of it as our blueprint. And it's only got three main parts. Okay, so what are they? First up, you've got the opening. That's just saying hello. Then you've got the middle. That's the main part of the chat. And finally, the closing, where you say a polite goodbye. Seriously, that's it. So let's break down each one using our example. All right, let's dive into part one, the opening. How do Sarah and David actually get this thing started? Well, you're gonna see it's way simpler than you might imagine. Look at that. Simple stuff, right? Hello. How are you today? That's all it takes. It's just a basic, friendly back and forth that sets a really warm, positive tone. So the big takeaway here, your opening doesn't have to be some fancy, brilliant line. It just needs to be friendly. Okay, so you've said hello. Now what? Let's move on to the middle of the conversation. How do you keep the chat from just stopping? Well, the secret is all about finding common ground. And you do that with easy, everyday topics. And if you look at what Sarah and David do, they stick to what we call safe topics. Things like the weather, what they did this morning, food, plans for later. These are absolutely perfect because, well, everybody has something they can say about them, right? Now, as they keep talking, pay attention to how they're building that connection. There's this great little trick to keep things flowing, and it's all about using these simple little agreement words. So, for example, Sarah says she loves sunny days. What does David say? Me too. Bam. Instantly. He does the exact same thing when she talks about coffee. This tiny little phrase is so powerful because it basically says, hey, I get you, and we have something in common. And here's another great one. Sarah uses same here to agree with David about the weather. Think of phrases like these as conversational glue. They just hold the whole chat together and make that friendly vibe even stronger. Okay, so you've found some common ground. The next step is to deepen that connection just a little bit. And you do that by asking some gentle, personal questions. It's really just about showing you're actually curious about the other person. And here is a golden phrase. So simple, but it makes a huge difference. And you? Notice how every time Sarah or David answers a question, they toss it right back. That one tiny move makes sure it's a real conversation, a balanced exchange, not just some kind of one-sided interview. And because they're asking these simple follow-up questions, they start learning these little personal details about each other, like how they take their coffee. I mean, it's not super deep stuff, but these are the details that make a conversation feel real and, engaging. And think about it. From that simple little chat about coffee, look where the conversation goes. It just naturally flows into hobbies like movies, then pets, family, even travel dreams. And all of it Every single bit just grows from asking simple questions and sharing a little about themselves. All right, so we've had a great chat. It's going well. But how do you end it without it being weird or awkward? Well, that brings us to the final piece of our blueprint, the closing. So pay close attention to how David signals that the chat is ending. He doesn't just go silent or turn and walk away, right? Instead, he says something positive about the conversation. That's such a clear and friendly signal that it's time to start wrapping things up. And that right there gives us a super simple 3-step recipe for a graceful exit. Step 1, just acknowledge that the chat was nice. Step 2, maybe briefly mention something you like talking about, just like Sarah does. And step 3, end with a warm, friendly goodbye. That's it. It really is that easy. And, as their chat comes to a close, Sarah and David remind us of the simple idea behind all of this. It's not about finding the perfect words or having flawless grammar. The real goal, the most important rule, is just to be friendly. A smile and a positive vibe, that's what's going to make the biggest difference every single time. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? It's that a real conversation isn't some test you can pass or fail. It's just a friendly exchange. That's all. It's a skill. And just like any other skill, it gets so much easier once you have a few simple tools and, a little bit of practice. And there you have it. That's the whole blueprint. A friendly opening, a curious middle, and a polite close. You've got the tools now. You've seen exactly how they work. So guess what? Now it's your turn to go out and actually use them. In fact, let's start right now with a simple question right out of Sarah and David's chat. What did you do this morning? Go on. Think about your answer. Just by doing that, you're already one step closer to your next great conversation. Just keep practicing and honestly, have fun with it.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Our job here, as always, is taking sources, sometimes complex ones, sometimes seemingly simple ones, and really digging in to give you that complete picture.
And today, it's definitely one of those deceptively simple sources. We're diving into a transcript of just a friendly, casual chat, a real English conversation, they called it, between two people, David and Sarah.
That's right. It was meant for language practice, just everyday stuff. But wow, when you actually analyze this kind of small talk, it's like a gold mine of details. So our mission today is to pull out all those core nuggets. Everything from like how they take their coffee to where they dream of traveling. We're basically building a full profile of these two just from maybe 10 minutes of conversation.
It's a really fascinating exercise, actually, because simple chats, they often hold the most valuable clues about how people tick, what they prefer day to day. You figure out how someone spends their time, their energy, maybe even their money, and suddenly you understand a lot about their whole approach to life. So we'll break down, show how these little choices paint a surprisingly clear picture.
Okay, let's jump right in then. Section 1, the daily rhythm. They kind of set the scene first, didn't they? The mood, the weather.
Yes, that was key. They both agreed straight away. Perfect day. Sunny, warm, but, and they made a point of this, not too hot.
Right.
That suggests they're both starting off feeling pretty good, positive. It sets a nice tone for everything else.
And that positive vibe carries into breakfast. But their routines are, well, they're completely different. This is where it gets interesting, analytically speaking. David's start.
David, he seems to take his time a bit more. He described making scrambled eggs with toast. That's, actual cooking. Effort involved.
These pans, takes time.
Exactly. And his coffee, he mentioned liking a little sugar. So it suggests maybe effort followed by a nice little reward. He'll cook, but he wants that classic, slightly sweet start.
Okay, contrast that with Sarah. Speed and maybe control.
Precisely. She went for cereal with milk. Super quick, easy. Efficiency seems key. And her coffee choice is maybe even more telling. 1 big cup with milk, but a definite no sugar.
Firm no sugar. That stood out.
Yeah, it's not just about taste, is it? It kind of signals self-discipline. She's maybe controlling that variable, focusing on the caffeine itself. So right away, we've got these two vibes. David, the reward seeker, and Sarah, maybe the efficiency specialist.
It's amazing how those coffee choices, sugar versus no sugar, almost feel like a blueprint for their day already, a sign of their self-management style. And it gets clearer with what they did after breakfast. David takes the active route, outside.
Yeah, he went for a walk in the park, found his peace through movement, through nature, and he was specific about the details: big green trees, lots of colorful flowers, red, yellow, white. For him, happiness seems to be about soaking up the world outside. Very sensory.
And Sarah, our efficiency specialist, she does the opposite. Stays inside, goes internal.
Totally. Stayed home, read a book, and the book topic is interesting too. Big animals, lions, tigers, elephants. And she mentioned it had wonderful pictures.
No.
So the pattern holds, doesn't it? David finds peace walking outside, taking in physical details. Sarah finds it reflecting inside, absorbing information, images. It's more intellectual, maybe imaginative.
The internal world driving the external choice. Okay, we've got their mornings mapped, but the picture gets sharper when we look at how they spend their free time, their choices around leisure. That brings us to section 2, personal tastes, food, fun, entertainment.
And we move right into lunch plans. And again, that active versus reflective thing plays out in how they even get their food. Sarah's planning ahead, it sounds like, a bit of effort involved.
Yeah, she's planning to go to the supermarket, specifically for fruit and veg, to make a salad. And she knows exactly what she likes. Red apples, because they're sweeter, she says, bananas, tomatoes, carrots. Very specific.
It's about control, isn't it? Customization, fresh ingredients, hitting those specific flavor notes she likes.
Meanwhile, David, he's meeting a friend. Different priority.
Right, at a small cafe. Lunch serves two purposes for him, it seems: social connection and food. And he has a favorite order, the excellent chicken sandwich.
Okay, but hang on. If Sarah's going to the trouble of shopping, choosing specific apples, building her own salad, doesn't David just picking up a sandwich seem, I don't know, a bit lazy in comparison?
That's a fair question, but maybe not lazy. It could suggest he values quality. He calls it excellent and convenience. He's willing to outsource the work for a guaranteed good result.
Okay.
Sarah wants control over the process, the ingredients. She wants to see that apple. David trusts someone else to deliver excellence so he can focus his energy, maybe on the chat with his friend.
That makes sense. One controls the process, the other ensures the outcome. Okay, let's shift from food to fun. Movies and music.
They actually agree on comedies. Both mention liking them because laughter feels good. David says they make him laugh. Sarah says laughter is healthy. But what kind of comedy differs?
Right. David likes movies about two funny friends who go on an adventure. That sounds very external. Action, buddies, moving around.
Exactly. It mirrors his walk in the park in a way. And Sarah, she likes a funny and happy movie about a dog.
A dog. Okay.
It feels more, I don't know, emotionally centered, comforting. It connects back to her reading about animals, too. She seems drawn to emotional connection, maybe gently stuff rather than pure action.
And their music taste. That's probably the clearest signal yet of their different internal worlds. David's choice.
Pop music. He says it's fun and good for dancing. It's about energy, movement, maybe shared experience. Very outward-focused sound.
Whereas Sarah prefers
Calm piano music. And she says why. It helps her focus when she's reading or studying. So for her, music is a tool. It's strategic for mental clarity, for reflection. It fits perfectly with the reading, the unsweetened coffee. David uses sound to boost his physical world. Sarah uses it to manage her mental space.
Wow. Okay, the picture's really clear now. We got the active outdoor dancer versus the reflective indoor reader. Let's keep connecting these dots. Section 3, home, family, and dreams. Starting with pets or ideal pets.
Well, Sarah already has a pet that totally fits her profile. A cat named Luna. White, big blue eyes, but mostly sleepy, which Sarah just accepts. Typical for cats, she says.
Right, a quiet companion, low maintenance. Fits the indoor reflective lifestyle.
Exactly. And David, who loves his morning walks, his dream pet makes perfect sense.
Let me guess. A dog.
Yep. A medium-sized dog, specifically so he can take it for walks in the park every morning. The dog is like an accessory for his existing healthy habit.
He's planning for more activity, needs a companion for that.
Totally. He wants an animal that needs movement, not one that just hangs out quietly. It's like their energy needs are perfectly mirrored in their pet choices. I wonder if Luna silently judges his pop music.
Maybe. Okay, that leads us to family. Structure, traditions, again, a real contrast here, especially around effort and proximity. David's family.
They live nearby. He has one older brother, describes him as funny and kind, and he sees his family every week.
Every week.
Yeah, their tradition is a Sunday barbecue. Eating, talking, playing games. It sounds easy, consistent, low logistical effort because they're close. It's social maintenance.
Okay. Now, Sarah's situation is quite different. There's distance involved.
Right. Her parents live in another city, so she visits monthly.
Mm-hmm.
And the tradition isn't just dinner. It's a very specific ritual.
Homemade pasta and chocolate cake for dessert. Every time.
Sounds like it. Very specific. And she has a younger sister she's close to, talks to her every day, despite the distance.
So David's proximity means easy, regular contact. Sarah's distance forces her into this more planned, ritualized gathering. Does that make Sarah's tradition somehow stronger because of the effort?
That's a really insightful way to put it. David's BBQ is like routine maintenance. Sarah's monthly trip with the specific menu that feels like investment.
Investment.
She's investing serious time, travel, effort to recreate the specific, probably cherished experience each month. It suggests maybe a deeper need for structure, maybe nostalgia, to maintain that connection. David's connection is built on just being around. It shows Sarah's control, that discipline, extends even to her emotional life, maybe.
Okay, final piece. Aspirations.
Yeah.
Travel dreams. This feels like it should wrap everything up perfectly. David wants to go there.
Italy. And his reasons are primarily about the food, pasta, pizza, gelato.
Yeah.
And secondarily, the famous cities, Rome, Florence, Venice. His dream is almost all about immediate sensory pleasure, great tastes, famous sights, very reward seeker.
And Sarah's dream destination.
Japan. Which makes perfect sense, right? It's the peak of her reflective cultural side. She wants to go for the culture, the temples, cherry blossoms, mountains, nature, that structured beauty, the history. And yes, she mentioned sushi food's always there, but the priority is clearly that deep, complex cultural experience. Quiet landscape, structure.
It's not just a holiday choice, is it? It's like their life philosophy summed up. David seeks immediate enjoyment. Sensory hits gelato, pop music. Sarah seeks complex, structured immersion culture, focus music, family rituals.
Exactly. The contrast defines them.
So we started with this simple chat meant for language learners, and now you listening to this, you know David pretty well. He's this reward-seeking, active guy, likes convenience but also quality, uses pop for energy, dreams of eating his way through Italy.
And you know, Sarah is the sufficiency specialist. Disciplined black coffee, piano for focus values, control over her environment, her food, maintains deep connections through deliberate rituals and dreams of that structured immersion in Japan. We definitely built the profiles.
It just shows how much information, how much predictive data is packed into everyday small talk. For anyone analyzing communication, what's really striking is how much you could guess after just the first few exchanges. Once we knew about the scrambled eggs and the piano music.
The rest almost follows, doesn't it? Italy, the monthly pasta ritual. It all fits. Which brings up a neat question, something the original source actually asked its readers. If you had to sum up your morning, just that first hour or two, in 3 specific descriptive nouns, what would they be?
Think about it. Are you, I don't know, scrambled eggs, park, laughter, like David? Or are you more serial, Luna, reflection, like Sarah?
It's interesting, right, how those 3 words might instantly reveal something about your own energy, your discipline, what you're aiming for in the day. It's a little piece of personal data right there.
A fascinating thought to leave you with. Keep practicing, keep talking, and maybe pay a little closer attention to those tiny, telling details in your own conversations.
Until next time.